Actress Helena Bonham Carter is back in the news, this time not for a new role, but for defending JK Rowling. Now, granted, she was in the Harry Potter movies, has probably known JK Rowling for some time, but seemingly just is choosing to come forward with a defense of JK Rowling for her constant transphobia online. I'm gonna give Helena Bonham Carter a chance to make her case. She said to the Times UK that the public pushback against Rowling's transphobia is, quote, horrendous and, quote, a load of bollocks. Don't try to win me over with your British slang, Bellatrix, okay? I see through it. It is cool slang, but anyway, she goes on to say she's allowed her opinion, particularly if she's suffered abuse. Okay, that's referencing Rowling's past admissions of experiencing sexual assault and domestic abuse. And on that, Helena Bonham Carter goes on to say, everybody carries their own history of trauma and forms their opinions from that trauma, and you have to respect where people come from and their pain. You don't all have to agree on everything. That would be insane and boring. She's not meaning it aggressively. She's just saying something out of her own experience. Okay, understood. I have processed what you've said, and now I will give you my opinions, Helena Bonham Carter. I get that it can be easy at times to see attacks against a community that you're not a part of and say, well, if we just got rid of all that, that would be boring. Again, easy to say when it's not your existence that is being debated, when the attacks are not coming against you. Now, Helena Bonham Carter, as a high profile woman, has certainly experienced tons of harassment and attacks. That goes without saying on Twitter. Right now, though, there is also another level of hatred constantly going towards the trans community. No one is saying that JK Rowling can't have her own opinion. So if we're gonna debate, why don't we debate what people are actually saying and not a straw man that we wanna get into her head and change her neurons? She can have whatever opinion she wants if she chooses to use her massive platform to constantly unprompted state that opinion. Then in the same way that she gets to have her opinion, we get to have our opinion. And no one is obligated to continue to love the creative output of people who so regularly choose to use their platform to attack others. That's what, when you say don't cancel people, they don't want to say what they really mean, which is, no, whether you find what she said offensive or not, you will continue to love and purchase her products, which is madness when you actually state it that way, but that is what they mean. You do not get to change your opinion of someone's creative work because of what they've said. So if you think that Chris Brown beating someone is terrible, shut up about it and keep buying his music. You don't get to change your opinion. Now, of course, they would never apply the standard to themselves. They get to think whatever they want, purchase or not purchase whatever they want. But for some reason, when it comes to things like this, they think you should be locked into whatever opinion you had of Harry Potter 20 years ago, and it can never change. Now, I'm responding there more to an overall argument at cancel culture, not so much specifically Helena Bonham Carter. She just says you can't ban people. I hate cancel culture. It's been taken to the extreme, the judgmentalism of people. It has become quite hysterical, and there's a kind of a witch hunt and a lack of understanding. But again, when you're invoking the term witch hunt, the witch hunt wasn't a cancel culture. It was a hateful group of people targeting those they hated, which is what you're defending right now. That's what you're doing. You're not defending the witches, you're defending the hunters. You seem confused about that, but when you say that there's an extreme of judgmentalism, I am much less bothered by someone who is judgmental against bigots than someone who is judgmental against trans people, against an entire marginalized group. And again, it isn't that people are breaking down JK Rowling's door and getting in her face and saying, what do you think about the trans community? She's choosing to constantly demonize and vilify that group, needlessly so, despite knowing how many people it deeply bothers. She's choosing to do that. You might be choosing not to see that as judgmental. I think that's a weird choice. I think being aggressively transphobic constantly in social media is a particularly judgmental thing to do. In any event, she was also asked about Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and other film stars of the Harry Potter movies who have spoken out against Rowling's views. She said, personally, I feel they should let her have her own opinions. but I think they're very aware of protecting their own fan base and their generation. So there's not much there. I could read into it that she thinks they're not being genuine and they're just protecting their fan base. I don't know, maybe they're not trans folks. Maybe it bothers them and they know members of the fan base that are parts of the groups that she wants to demonize. I don't think it's selling out to protect those people from targeted harassment campaigns and bigotry. In any event, she says again, personally, I feel they should let her have her opinions. Yes, but if they have to let her have her opinions, then they get to have their own, and their opinion is that she's wrong, okay? Again, if you're so focused on people being able to express their own opinions, I don't get why you're so shocked when we express our opinion that your bigotry is wrong. It should be super simple to understand. And look, I say all of this as a person who has long enjoyed Harry Potter. They're flawed books in a lot of different ways, many different ways, but they're also enjoyable. And I've enjoyed the movies, I've enjoyed the performances. I've even particularly enjoyed the performance of Helena Bonham Carter in that movie and in many movies. I'm genuinely a massive fan of her. But I was inspired by her call to have people express their opinions. And so, Helena, I just had to let you know what I think. You're an amazing actress. And I think you're kind of dead wrong on the transphobia stuff. I also think that you needlessly defending Johnny Depp is kind of needless too. I get it, you've been in a billion movies with him for many decades. I sort of get that one more than the JK Rowling thing, but yeah, I don't know. She gets to express her transphobic views and we get to identify it as transphobia. It's really as simple as that to me.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.